Hi, I'm Clay Carlino and I do stuff. And tonight, I'm doing all sorts of stuff. I'm gonna try and catch up where I left off last week. I mean, we're not doing the trivia stuff and we're not eating tarantulas. But you know, I have found that I kept calling them crickets. It turns out they're grasshoppers, I guess. And these little things are actually pretty good. So, you know, I guess this is one for expanding your horizons. Yeah, chapulines, and then it says grasshoppers in very tiny print. Wait, here, we'll go to the super close to read the word grasshoppers. So, there we go, and let me get it in focus. And yeah, you can see it right there. Grasshoppers. So, I kept calling them crickets. So, hopefully I don't have to pay any consequences for misreading that. It was not a trivia question. So, welcome back, everyone. I hope that you... Okay, you know what? I'm not eating any more of the tarantula. Okay, I'll have a bite of the tarantula. So, just so that everybody knows, Monica has been chowing down on the tarantula. And, that's... Oh my gosh, that's, you know, for those who weren't here last week, we had as a consequence, I had to eat zebra tarantula. And, I think I'm emotionally scarred. Oh, and she's... Okay, you're gonna love this. Let's go to the super close. So, Monica has been pulling off the fangs. There is a tarantula fang. And there's another one. So, yeah, she wanted to, have the fangs for posterity.
No, God!
Yeah.
No, God, please, no! 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 No!
And that really sums up how I feel about this. I don't even want to touch it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I didn't touch the body last time. I'm touching the butt. Oh my gosh. Ah. Oh, you can see the... Wait a minute here. This is so bad. This is so bad. Why am I doing this to myself or to you? We gotta go to the super close because it's awful. Look at that. That is the underbelly of a tarantula. And you can still see some of the fuzziness. Oh my gosh, it's so awful. This is just terrible. Yeah, it's... Oh my gosh, you know, I'm gonna stop that. Besides, you know, Monica's really enjoying this. I want to save some for her. So, yeah, bugs are apparently part of my diet. I've got another festive drink. Look at that! That is amazing! This is my drink tonight, and, yeah, right here. Oh! Well, I think that this has a substantial amount of love in it, and for those of you who are over 21, you know what love means. It might be booze. Might. Of course, for those of you who are under 21, it's fruit juice and Kool-Aid. Fruit juice and Kool-Aid. Yes, that's what we're looking at. So, I feel like I need to drink again. Okay, that's enough of that. So, This has been a fun week. I'm getting lots of sound effects, so yeah, yummy, yummy, yummy. We have to greet people. I'm a terrible host. So I can see that Kyoji is here, and Mazen Fur, and Joy's back. Joy, the winner of our gift package. Joy, your gift package came so close to going out today, but then the box apparently was a couple inches too big, and they wanted to suddenly charge us as though it weighed 50 pounds. So we're repackaging that, and we're going to send it out tomorrow. I apologize that it did not go out already, but still, you're getting your stuff. And thank you. For those of you that I can't see your names on chat, thank you for joining us. These are so much fun for me, and it's because you're here. So I really appreciate you spending your Friday evenings with me, and this is a nice big drink to all of you. Oh, I took several inches off of that. That may be a problem later. We'll find out. It was really good, though. So, those of you who were with us last week during the 2005 special, which I think I'm up to like 2,060 subscribers right now, which is crazy, but I'm glad, and thank you everyone. So, testes? 1, 2, 3. No. I did not say testes, okay? I didn't say testes. There was no testes on this live stream. We don't say stuff like that. So, anyway, for those of you who were with me during the last live stream, screw you, San Diego. Why are we screwing San Diego? Because of Comic-Con, or our anchor? Oh, okay. So yes. Oh, okay. This is the Anchorman joke. I can't believe I forgot about that. Yes, screw you, San Diego. I do tend to read anything that's on the board. So, for those of you who don't know, Monica has complete control over my actions. She has a remote control, and I believe that, now I've never actually seen a control box, but I'm pretty sure that it's in her eyes, because if she just, bats them a certain way, suddenly I do whatever she wants. It's amazing. Okay, I'll stop right there. So, if you remember correctly, before we got to the trivia portion of last week's live stream, which that was fun, and we have to do that again. I think that worked out really well, and so I do want to do that again. And Jonah Seaman. Oh, by the way, hi, Jonah. I hadn't said hi to you, so Jonah is here. Last time that we were together, before we got to the live stream, or the trivia part, I was trying to transform Machine Wars Prime, and I got stuck. And I didn't want to break him, and so I didn't get to show you the robot mode, and that was actually the first thing that led to a consequence. So I have since figured out what the problem was. It was user error. It was my fault. I did it wrong. And so I thought that I would start out tonight's live stream showing you Machine Wars Prime. And as I was looking at him, I realized he's not a good Optimus Prime toy. He's just, there are things that I like about this toy, but most of him is bad. Yeah. And then that got me to thinking, over the years, there have been a number of questionable to bad Optimus Prime toys. And, I mean, there's a lot of Optimus Primes. There are more Optimus Primes than I will ever own. But even amongst the ones that I have, which is a lot, by the way, there are some of them that just aren't that great. And I thought, why not roll those out so that we can pick them apart and make fun of them like the red-headed stepchildren that they are. So, we're going to start out looking at Machine Wars Optimus Prime, who has an interesting truck mode, and I don't hate the truck mode. It's ridiculous. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it does do this. And that has to count for something. It has the word Transformers molded into the back because, you know, I guess they had given up on the whole Robots in Disguise thing. Actually, Robots in Disguise was the next line after this one. This was kind of during Beast Wars, or maybe at the tail. Yeah, I think that it was kind of concurrent with Beast Wars. It was Machine Wars, and it was part of the. And let's see, that would have been during. Yeah, it would have been during Beast Wars, before Car Robots, and it was a KB toy exclusive, so it wasn't even, like, super mass release. You couldn't get it at Walmart, you couldn't get it anywhere else, it was only KB. So, and he is a repaint of Thunderclash, which I might like him better if he were just Thunderclash. But since he's got the name Optimus Prime, he has some stuff to live up to, and that's what we're going to pick apart tonight. So let's start with the trailer. It's kind of a ridiculous looking trailer. I don't understand the wheels. I mean, what, you know, they're just, they got no tread, they got no detail, they're just sort of little... you know what? They look like the miniature skate wheels that you would get on those shoes that had skates built into them. I had a pair, and the wheels were so hard that you could not use them on really any surface. You know, a skate wheel has to have a little bit of a softer durometer in order to grip a surface like pavement or even hardwood, and these things were rock solid. I think that they were just cheap. So, anyway, and last time I kind of struggled to get this correct, so let's see if I can transform it correctly. Also, by the time that I got to this one, I had already had quite a bit of my you know, stuff.
Hello there.
And we're gonna pretend like that didn't have anything to do with it, because of course this is Kool-Aid and fruit juice. It's delicious Kool-Aid and fruit juice. So, all right, I'm gonna try and transform this. I don't even know where to begin with this. It's got a crazy transform, and I do like how unusual the transform is. So you have to kind of lift this up, and then this is going to go like that. So we've got that happening. And then the back panel is just going to come off completely. I don't really like that, but it gets used. And then the sides swing out like this, just like that, and then come around behind it. So we're here right now, and then that doesn't have to come off. We can open up the warning thing, because that has a gun inside, so it needs warnings. And we've got his little handgun, which just pegs into a hole here, and it wants to pop off, but it doesn't need to. So I'm going to try and keep it on there. And then we're going to lift it up like this, and then we're going to tilt these down, and then these things just come down like this. And I'm going to make some space over by the other camera, where I have discreetly positioned a bunch of other Optimus Prime toys, and we're going to try and set this up correctly. So let's go to the other camera view. Gosh, my windows are in the way. Okay, so there we go. We got the other camera. Oh, Hope is here! Hope is here, everyone! So let's say hi to Hope, and of course, a drink to Hope. That one's for you, Hope. Okay, so this goes like this, and then we've got these things which sort of do a thing, and getting them right is a little bit tricky, you know, just because the angles are all wonky. But this sort of does this. I'm going to do it sideways. And then this little panel, this was the tailgate from before. This just plugs into the back here. And then you can split these little handles here, which you can't even see. Let me aim the camera up. And then Optimus Prime will stand here in robot mode. And so let's take a look at Optimus Prime. This is his truck mode. His truck mode isn't terrible. It's a little bit silly. I mean, you know, it's not, I like the clear windows. And I like that the clear window plastic is also makes its way into the headlights here. So that's kind of cool. But you know, it looks a little bit like a lunar lander. And I hate that it actually says Transformers across the windshield. I mean, you know, it's kind of GoBots-esque, and that's not a good descriptor in this case. So what you're going to do with him is you flip the feet down like this, and then you flip the legs down, which is pretty common for a Prime toy. You open the little door in the back, and then you pull the head out that far. And that's what was making the arms stick last time. See, with the head in there, these things will not separate, and if you try to force them, you will break them. So you pull the head out like this, and then you separate the front halves of the truck, and you swing them against the body like that. And then from there, you can fold the roof down to go onto the chest, where he's got this sticker. And then you flip the head up, and then you close the door on the back. And that, I warned you last week, that is Optimus Prime. Let's just go to the super close for just a moment. There we go. So, does anybody notice anything right below the nose? You know, just above the chin? Something that kind of makes him, I don't know, not look very Optimus Prime. Yeah, he's got a mouth. I realize that at this point we have seen Optimus Prime without a mouth or without a muzzle before. You know, obviously Optimus Primal had sort of a muzzle thing, and then there was a cutout around. But here's the thing, Optimus Primal was a different character. And it's not that Optimus Prime can't have a mouth, but you know what? Optimus Prime with a mouth is still not this guy. This ain't him, and he's a stick. The articulation is here. Okay? You can move the elbows, and I guess you could get him to sort of flap his shoulders like a bird. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I guess he could do a double kick, a double foot kick, maybe, you know, a thunk. But that's it. He is, and here's the thing. This is obviously a mold that came from the latter days of the Gen 1 era, when posability just wasn't a consideration. But for a toy that came out during the Beast Wars era, when everything was ball joints and posability and articulation and detail, this is a step backwards. I'm sorry. Maybe had he come out in 1985 or 1987, I would have been more forgiving. But yeah. And also just let's just look at the body dynamics for a second. He's got kind of low shoulders, and he's got a completely undetailed chest that if this sticker gets ruined, then there ain't nothing there. I mean, even I have stuff on my chest, okay? Like, I have nipples. Okay, and do you know why I have nipples? Just for decoration. Because God knows that if a man didn't have nipples, there would be nothing to look at on his chest.
Shame.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Shame.
Shame. I did not take off my shirt, so I think that I should be kind of given some leeway for not taking off my shirt on camera. And look, I've drunk half of this. If she keeps playing that music, then I will disrobe. Nobody wants that. Just letting, we all agree, nobody wants that. And yeah, you know what? Kyoji was just talking about the olive-colored forearms. Why? Why was that a choice? I mean, if you're doing a repaint of Optimus Prime, when has Optimus Prime had olive green on him anywhere? So yeah, anyway, going over to the other camera, so we would put the arms up like this, and then there's little handles here that can peg in, and now he can sort of stand on his platform, but it makes it heavy and it doesn't want to stay up. But that is, and then it does rotate, and these things would be able to fire missiles, and of course they can do that. And that's, so that is Machine Wars Optimus Prime. And look, he doesn't even want to stay up. The base mode or the trailer, whatever this is interesting. I will give them credit for making something that is interesting and different. Maybe here, let's do this. And my camera never stays up. So, yeah, it is interesting and different. And that does count for something. And I think that if this weren't Optimus Prime, then I would be far more forgiving of it. But they sold it with the name Optimus Prime, and then they really didn't deliver on the promise of it being Optimus Prime. So, yeah. Sorry, Machine Wars Prime, but you are one of the worst of primes.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
I was wondering if we got... So, I'm going to set that aside. We're going to take him out of the way for the moment. And this leads me... Oh, here, we'll give him his gun. You do get to get... I don't hate you, Machine Wars Prime, but, I'm sorry, you're just not Prime to me. I think that maybe I'd accept him more as maybe Orion Pax. Although, the trailer's a bit much for a pre-war Optimus Prime, but yeah, I think that I might accept him more as Orion Pax. So it still doesn't make him a great toy. He's still a stick, and no posability, but you know, maybe there's potential for that somewhere. And yes, Dr. Cox makes an appearance. Thank you, Kyoji. So, and Joy is just commenting that the word for the day is nipples. So whenever you hear the word nipples, you take a drink of your beverage of choice. I always knew I liked nipples. Okay. So, Machine Wars Prime may have been released during the Beast Wars era, but it was obviously based off of an earlier mode, and I believe that Thunderclash was a Europe-only design, so he never came out in America. But his design does remind me of another Optimus Prime toy that I'm going to pull out right now. Actually, I'm going to put it on the other cam. This, we're gonna aim it right there. So this is Power Master Optimus Prime from the Gen 1 era. He is, he was the first Optimus Prime toy to come out since the original Optimus Prime toy. And so when I was a kid, I got my Gen 1, my original Optimus Prime secondhand, and he wasn't in very good condition, but it was Optimus Prime. And so Power Master Prime was the first Optimus Prime toy that I actually got to buy firsthand. As I've mentioned in earlier in earlier live streams, I didn't have a lot of money when I was a kid, and then I got a paper route, and then I used my paper route money to buy a Commodore 64 and Transformers toys and pretty much whatever things I needed as a young teenager who, 13, 14-year-old who otherwise wouldn't have any money to put into Pac-Man machines and things. So this was the this is not actually the Power Master Optimus Prime that I bought, because the Power Master Optimus Prime that I got was stained irrevocably in a fire that happened in my house in 9th grade. And so I got a little bit of so I ended up buying another one. And so yeah, I got this is probably that one. I don't think it's Dawn's, because Dawn's didn't have quite as much yellowing, and yeah, I have it over there. Actually, let's see. Okay, so I think this one is the one that I got from Dawn. Dawn actually had Power Master Optimus Prime as well, and so yeah, this one is his, and this one is mine, and it's funny that even though he gave these to me years ago, so at this point, I guess they're mine, I still think of them as his, and like I won't kit bash something that was Dawn's because it seems disrespectful. Now my toys, I will kit bash the hell out of. Although I did modify, I did make one change to Dawn's. I made the arms of the small robot move. And let's get into that. So this is Power Master Optimus Prime in truck mode. And you can see that Power Master, for those who don't know, this was later in the Transformers series. This was probably around 1988, maybe 80. maybe 87, 88. But by this time, they had done headmasters and target masters, so they were kind of looking for other gimmicks. And so the latest gimmick was Pretenders and Power Masters. And they didn't make a lot of them, but they did make some. And so the engine, you know, the engine would come out and it would turn into a little dude. You know, he was a Nebulon, meaning that he was from Nebulos. And let's go ahead and show this guy on the super close, if I can actually put down Prime. His name is Haikyuu, which I always thought was a silly name, but I like the guy. He looks cool. You know, he's just a little dude, and you know, he's got movable arms. He does the splits. So wait here, you know, as part of the transform, he can do that. So you know, he can kind of take a cosmic dump, and that's important. And so the gimmick was that you couldn't transform the Transformers toy without the engine engaged. So let's just go ahead and take the front off. And now here, before I set the trailer aside, let's go ahead and look at this for a second. So we have the trailer, and it resembles the original Gen 1, or, well, it's also Gen 1, the original Wave 1 trailer in styling. You know, it has the stripe and everything, and it has the ridges and in the side panels, but obviously there's a lot more obvious transformy bits, and then there's a shit ton of guns. So this is Prime when he's given up trying to be subtle. He is just going to blow the shit out of everything. So we got that trailer, and I'm going to set that aside. And then we've got Haikyuu, which turns into his engine. And I actually was okay with the Power Masters as a gimmick. You know, it didn't really add a lot to me, but I thought that the concept was fine. I would have liked it more if the sides of the grill had been red. You know, they've got it this gray color. I think it would have been better if it had been red. But anyway, you plug him into the front, which when you can plug stuff into the front of a truck, okay, that's actually pretty cool. I like that. Let's go ahead and look at it on the super close. So yeah, you know, he's got the engine right in the front. He doesn't really look much like an engine though. You know, I feel like there could have been more detail put in, but I do forget that this was back when they weren't designing these things on a computer and then having them CNC milled to microscopic precision. This was probably done. I don't know how they did this stuff. You know what? I have no idea how in 1987 they were creating these toys, because the idea of coming up with these molds and these precision interlocking parts without CAD, I mean, they must have had some kind of CAD. They had to, right? I don't know. I really don't know. So Kyoji was just commenting about how Haikyuu's fellow Nebulons were named Rev, Hotwire, and Lube. And Kyoji, you are so right. Who honestly would willingly go by the name Lube? You know, we don't know the backstory. It could have been that he wanted to be Dr. Killshot, and then he slipped on some lube, and then for the rest of his life, everybody just called him Lube. And for those who don't know, that was on Robot Chicken. Go ahead and check out the episode. And the guy's name was Fumbles. So anyway, yeah, Dr. Killshot. Let's just say that from now on, Lube's name is Dr. Killshot. So anyway, Without high Q in place, which, he's really stuck in there. Okay, there we go. There's a little hook in here that doesn't allow Prime to transform. And I don't know if the plastic will survive if I force it. I know that you can pop it out of there, or at least I used to be able to, but this is like 35-year-old plastic, so let's not push it to its limits. Let's put high Q in place, and now, oh, look at that! Now you can bend down the legs and flip out the feet. Doesn't that seem familiar? Doesn't that seem very much like somebody else? So, and then you flip down the cod piece, and then you flip around the arms. Once again, so you see why I was reminded so much of this Optimus Prime, because, we've got this motion here with the arms. Once again, we have this motion here with the arms, except in this case, the arms pivot down like this, and then the head flips up like this. And the nice thing with this toy is that if you do things out of order, you're not going to break him. Now, one downside with this toy, and Don, if you are watching this live stream, which I know you're not, at least not right now, but maybe tomorrow or when you're really, really bored, you will appreciate that I'm doing this for everyone else, because this was your joke, so I'm giving it to you. Alita 1 would sing, "My boyfriend's back is the same as his front. Hey la, my boyfriend." Wait, here. Let me get backup singers here. Okay, we got a couple backup singers. Hey la, my boyfriend's back. Because Thank you. So, yeah, he's got an entire truck front on his back, and then his chest, which already looks like a truck front, is also on his front. So, my boyfriend's back. That's his back. That's the joke. I'm sorry. So, it was really funny when I was in 7th grade. All right, I'm just gonna say that. So, I've got mixed feelings here, and so I'm gonna put it all out on the table, and I'm gonna let you, the internet, judge me for it. On one hand, I look at this Prime, and he's only got 4 wheels. He's a tractor trailer, and he's only got 4 wheels, and they're tiny. Look at how tiny those wheels are in relation to the rest of the thing, and they're same on here. I mean, come on, Hasbro, were wheels really that expensive in 1988? I mean, why can't I have big knobby tires? This is Optimus Prime. Come on, pony up an extra 2 pennies for larger wheels. Come on. So, and you look at this and you compare this with the very, very realistic look of, and Kyoji was talking about how it was weird to see Optimus Prime with red eyes. I mean, in the cartoon, they made I've had too much of that drink. I was going to use the word distinction, so I didn't want to say a distinct distinction. Monica's trying to help me with my words, but I didn't want to say a pronounced distinction between Autobots and Decepticons, where Decepticons had red eyes, Autobots had blue eyes, Cobra fired blue lasers, G.I. Joe fired red lasers. I had some mixed feelings about color when I was growing up. Just letting you know. Mixed signals, Hasbro. Mixed signals. So, anyway, yeah, so Optimus Prime had Decepticon eyes in this one, but obviously that was because it was molded in primarily red plastic, and they were letting that go through. But nonetheless, you compare this to the Wave 1 generation Optimus Prime toy, which looked like a truck. It looked like it was a small version of something that you would have seen driving down the street. It was realistic. And then you get this, and nobody's gonna be fooled. Okay, this is not a robot in disguise. This is a robot folded up into truck shape. At this point in the franchise, they're not making realistic looking toys anymore. They're making, the mantra was keep doing what we're doing except doing it cheaper. And while there's a lot going on here, it's obvious that there was a diminish in quality. And so, that's one thing that I have a little bit of a problem with. The other thing is, of course, the fact that he can't even raise his arms. The only articulation you get is here in the elbows. Now, I kit bashed mine, okay? I cut off the piece of the smokestack that went through into here, and then I added a screw. And so now he is actually able to raise his arm, and I really appreciated that. Okay, that made this toy a lot more playable for me because, now he could move his arm up, and then, you use that joint so he can move his arm back and forth. He can wave to you. He can be like, hello, internet. I'm sorry to be featured on the Worst of Prime's episode. I feel like it's insulting. I'm sorry too, Prime.
Hello there.
Nonetheless, that was good. That was good. When I was a kid, I loved this toy. And that has to mean something. When I was a kid, obviously I didn't care that much that it didn't look like a realistic truck because it looked more like the cartoon Optimus Prime. And for me, since my other Optimus Prime was secondhand and not very good, it was great to have a perfect condition toy. And let me show you what else he does, because that's not all. So we can take the guns off of the trailer here, and then the gun will fall on the floor. Oh, wait, there we go. Okay, so we got the gun back. That's important. I didn't want to lose the gun. And then you pull this out just a little bit, right there, and then you can fold down the sides. And fold down the arms. And then you flip this down, and then you fold down the arms here, and now you can add the guns to the shoulders. And see, that's kind of cool because it sort of reminds me of the smokestacks on the small Prime. And then with this, you flip down the head, you pretty much turn him into a truck again, except you're also going to fold him at the knees like this and drop him into the top like that. And then if you've been wondering what's been rattling around in here, there's a little compartment inside the legs, and you can actually put the tailgate down, which is cool. It's not a big compartment, but it is big enough to hold this ginormous Prime head.
Excellent.
And then here, let's give him one of his guns to hold. That's important. So there you go. That is Power Master Optimus Prime. This was the first Optimus Prime toy that was able to merge with his trailer. And that was awesome. When I was a kid, I loved that. And I loved the design that has the whole cab of the truck right here in the chest. I mean, it really speaks to the size and the scale of this figure. Why they felt like it had to have an oversized noggin, I have no idea. They did that on a lot of the combiner toys where it's like, oh, look, if you get a really big robot head, that makes it better. Yeah. So Savage Shark also put his extra Prime head in the trailer, which Oh, okay, so Savage Shark. Yeah! Hey, Savage Shark, welcome! I have finished way too much of this to only be 45 minutes into this live stream. So, we might have a problem pretty soon. So, anyway, so I loved this toy when I was a kid. And it's only being able to look back and recognize some of the things that they just wouldn't be able to get away with in a premium toy release now. You wouldn't be able to have him with no articulation in the elbows or the wrists or anything like that, and you wouldn't have an extra head. You know, I would have been perfectly happy if they had just made the existing head so that it maybe rotated around and you know, I mean, that would have been fine. In fact, having a small head only makes the size of the body more exaggerated and kind of cool. Now this one also did this, which I loved bases. Okay, I loved being able to play with the Autobot bases. I had Metroplex, I had Fortress Maximus, I had the original Prime trailer. So having another Prime trailer that would turn into a base was really, really cool. And this one,
This is our last hope, people. If you all blindly follow my plan, we may have a chance. Thanks to my ultimate weapon!
okay, so that was a good quote to get us to this point. And, you know, you could be creative with it. There were lots of places to mount the guns. And, you know, I would very oftentimes do stuff like this. And maybe take that extra Prime head and put that like on the back side of his hand, so you know, so that it was at least, I mean, what the hell do you do with it? That's the other thing. This Prime head is just a giant Prime head. I don't know what you're supposed to do with it. Maybe put this one on here. So here, this is the base mode. Let's go ahead and put it down and show it on the other camera. So there we go. Oh, there we go. So this is actually a pretty cool base mode. Let's adjust. And then we'll transform Prime back into a robot so that we can put him in there, which doesn't really take a whole lot of time with these. And so he is now right there, and so yeah, you know, we've got cool ramps where Autobots can drive up on, and you could also seat high Q in these things, and we don't want to knock over that, okay? And so, you know, a pretty cool base mode. And no, Ashy Slashy, get away from me! Get away from me! Damn Ashy Slashy. So, yeah, you stay away. Just stay away. I feel like I need a drink after being assaulted. That is so good. So, am I supposed to still be drinking? So, yeah, I still have very fond memories of Power Master Optimus Prime, and regardless of the things that were obviously kind of toned back on and some of the quality things, I do love this toy, and I kind of hate including it in a live stream about the worst of Primes, but you know, sometimes you have to detach yourself from your emotions and just accept that, you know, nowadays hopefully things would be better. Hopefully. And that leads us into our next edition of the Worst of Primes. Where is he? Okay, so this mess here, this is Titans Returns Optimus Prime in his base mode. Wait, here, this doesn't go there. So this would go in the back. I modified mine so that you could take the truck off because, yeah, okay, first thing, the truck could not be separated from the trailer. Oh, what? And it's very light. You can feel that no extra plastic was spared. They must have done stress tests digitally to make sure that there's just enough plastic to keep it from falling apart when you transform it, but no extra because it is light. Yeah. So, originally the truck would just stay attached back here, and then it would be like that. And then you have this sort of base mode thing, and it's got this ramp that it runs into the arm here, and I tried transforming this in a way where the ramp goes in another direction, and it almost faces forward, almost, and it's got
some fucked up repugnant shit.
Yes, this is some stuff.
This is some fucked up repugnant shit.
Yes. So, and it's got these little connection points here, which allow it to combine with Fortress Maximus and Blaster, except that since these things aren't in any position that really lend themselves to going, like, to connecting with anything, I mean, you can't, I don't know how to connect it and still have it be a base. I mean, if they were sticking out the front, okay. If they were sticking straight out of the side, okay, that would work. But you can't do that. It's like it was half baked, and I feel like if they had just put a pivot point right here at the waist, then that would make a lot of difference. But you know, no extra parts were put on here, and no extra pivot points. So, yeah, this is supposedly a base mode. It's not. It's a half transformed robot. That's what it is. And so let's go ahead and let's turn him into something, and we'll go from here. Let's go ahead and turn him into a robot. So the robot mode is not bad. You know, as long as you can get past the fact that it's very, very light. And yes. So Kyoji was just commenting that this is a retool of the Ultra Magnus mold from I think it was Combiner Wars, and he is right. This, in fact, I was really excited about that Ultra Magnus until I started seeing reviews, and then by the time I saw him in the store, he even in the store he just looked cheap, and so I didn't get him. You know, I thought, you know what, it just doesn't look all that great, and I'm glad, because this was an expensive toy. I think this was like at the $50 price point, or at least at the $40 price point. And let me tell you, there is not $40 worth of plastic in here. There's not $40 worth of engineering. There ain't $40 worth of nothing in there.
Now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe! So, I hope that all of you were going G.I. Joe with me back there. So, Yeah. Savage Shark says that he wants to feed it to the Sharkticons, and you know what? That's probably the best thing that you could do. There was an upgrade kit that I saw online where you could improve this, but unfortunately it was out of stock, and now I can't even find it. But upgrade kits are really interesting. You know, the fact that there are third-party companies out there producing parts that are just intended to make your toys better. And yeah, they're pricey because, you know, they're not making super high volume of these things, but they're usually very high quality. So let's get back to Prime here. And yeah, I'm not explaining how to transform him because you don't want to buy him anyway. So you don't need to know how to transform him. You know, if you see him on the secondary market, you know, maybe as a curiosity for $20 or less, okay. But yeah, don't spend a lot of money because, you know, you're not going to be happy with your purchase. So here he is in Super Robot mode. And let's take these guns off the shoulders and give him his... Thank you. There we go. And that is Titan Returns homage to Power Master Optimus Prime, except he is not a Power Master, he's a Headmaster. Whoops. And you see, we got the Optimus Prime head, and let's just go to the super close, and oh no! Oh no! What's going on here? It's Optimus Prime with a mouth! And he looks very, very happy, actually. He's, you know, so yeah, we are back to Optimus Prime, and see, I guess this would be more of maybe an Orion Pax or something, but then, oh, and I'm, stop pressing buttons on my keyboard, you're gonna make the live stream turn off, and then you plug the head in here, and then, well, if he wants to go in here, let's try this again, third time's a charm, there we go. So you plug the head in there, and then the mask goes on over top of it, and the mask makes it look like Optimus Prime. And, you know, I'm okay with that. I'm actually okay with that. I'm okay with the idea that there's a mouth behind the muzzle, even though I don't know why that's necessary, because, you know, I don't think that Transformers eat. I don't, well, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'm okay. I'm not going to overthink it because, I mean, honestly, alien robots that transform into cars and trucks, do we really want to go down the rabbit hole of trying to make that logical? I don't think we do. In fact, somehow this, you know, it's sort of, you might as well ask, why do men have nipples? I polished off like another third of that. That is... I keep making bad decisions. And I'm sorry to share my bad decisions with you. But that was probably a bad decision. Anyway, so we've got Optimus Prime here, and now they did put some slots in this panel underneath which help to make the guns stay into his hands better. That helps to stabilize them, so that's pretty cool. And they've got one on this side, so he can dual wield. Dual wielding is cool. And here's the thing, I like the aesthetics of this. You know, I love that you've got articulation, and you can throw the gun on the floor. And, you know, and even with the headmaster and the battle mask, he's still able to rotate his head and look around and stuff. So, as a figure, he's pretty cool. Can you show this and the Power Master Prime together? I sure can. So, let's see. You know, so here is original Gen 1 Power Master Prime. In fact, let me put these on the other camera. And let's put this guy there, and then we'll go to the other camera and move the super close lens out of the way, and there we go. And so you can see they've done a lot. You know, like the designers on this were doing their diligence to make an interestingly detailed toy and give him some good body dynamics and make a really nice modern take on the Power Master design. And he is pretty cool. You know, I love the big husky arms, and I like the aesthetic here, although I kind of wish I could see more of the truck. And so that robot mode, I'm okay with. So Savage Shark has a question. Maybe I missed it on the previous Prime toys, but did they ever make an Optimus Prime toy where the mask is not on? Well, they did. This is Machine Wars Prime. He was a KB exclusive during the Beast Wars time. And here, let's go to the super close. And so there's that. There's also other versions of Prime that did not have a faceplate, or a lot of times they would make it so that the faceplate could like flip up or come off. Animated Prime had a mouth, and some of the toys either just had the mouth or they had like a faceplate that was underneath the chin, and then you flipped a little thing and it would put the faceplate in front of his mouth. See, this is my Optimus Prime. So there, that's me doing the Optimus Prime. There was also Robots in Disguise Prime, which I showed during the last live stream, and in his super robot mode, he had a mouth. Let's see, what other ones? Cybertron, yes, and we will get to Cybertron. Oh, we are going to get to Cybertron Prime. Cybertron Prime did come out, the first wave of them came out with a mouth. And it made no sense because he wasn't shown that way in the cartoon, to my knowledge. I didn't watch much of Cybertron because it was awful. But, and we will get to Cybertron Prime. So, anyway. So, this is, back to Titans Returns Prime. So, if this were a little bit heavier, if it pivoted at the waist, it would be better. It looks nice, and it's got some interesting features. But let's go to the truck mode, and we'll start talking about where this toy just oh, and there goes the head. That's fine. We don't need it. He's going to be a truck. So we lift this up, and then we open up the front, and then we just flip the head down in like that, and then there's a little panel here that covers up the hole, so we'll put that in place and then close that down, and then this rotates around here like that. And like I said, originally it was designed to just stay on here during the transformation sequence. And let's take the guns off the shoulders. And then that's gonna flip up. And then we're going to unfold these side panels from around the legs. And then these are gonna go here like that. And then we're going to rotate these panels up which are sort of attached to the fronts of the legs. And then we'll put the kind of engine thing down. And the arms flip around like that. And then you unfold these ramps, which, you know, it's got these ramp things. How come these didn't play into the base mode? You know, that would have been cool, but no, they didn't do that. Like I said, the base mode was completely phoned in. And then you're gonna click these together, make them go together like that, and square these off. And then the side panels are going to click in there, and I'll click it on the other side. And then the feet kind of nest in the bottom there, like that. And then the top kind of clicks down in here like this. And you just kind of get all the little tabs to fit into all the little slots. And that is our truck mode. And if we so choose, we can do the Power Master Prime thing where we have these double guns on the sides of the trailer, and we can take these things and sort of, you know, they're better if you put them in there. They got a 5mm plug that goes in there. And then there's another 5mm plug that goes in there. And that is his truck mode. And let's go ahead to the other camera. Oh, wow. I just lost my super close camera lens. I'm just gonna stick that back on there. Got a little bit overzealous, I think. Maybe.
The Transformers will
there we go.
After these messages.
So, move Power Master Prime off of there. So, this is his vehicle mode. And, I like the front of the truck here. I like how that looks. The rest of it is... It looks cheap. I'm sorry, it looks cheap. Now, at least they gave us full-sized wheels. I will give them credit for finally giving us full-sized wheels. In fact, these are big, beefy wheels. The designers of this, obviously, they felt the same way about those little dinky wheels, and they're like, well, you know, screw that. This time, he gets big, fat tires. He gets 6 tires on the truck, and he gets big, knobby tires here. So, you know, that's cool. Now, as I mentioned before, the way that this comes, the truck, it does pivot, but it doesn't come off. You can't separate this. And so what I did was, okay, here, let me show you on the super close. So, if you can see, okay, you can see that right there. This used to be completely round. And as you can see, I've taken off the upper part and the lower part here so that I could just pull it out of that slot and separate that out. So now I have the truck mode that does come out, and you know, so there's actually, here, let me show you this, and this part of it is a little bit cool. So there's actually a little seat inside here. Let me go back to the super close. So there's this little seat inside there, and then if you've got the headmaster guy, you can transform him, which you don't have to. You can actually just leave this right in the head socket and transform him, and don't even do anything with the headmaster guy, which I don't know that that's intentional, but I like it. And you can put this guy right in here and have him sitting, and let's go to the super close. So he can be sitting right there. Oh, his head spun around the wrong way. There we go. Okay, so he can be sitting right there in the middle and be piloting the vehicle, and then you close that up, and he's in there. Okay, so that part is cool, but okay, here's where there's a big problem. That's it. This does not transform into Optimus Prime. This doesn't transform into anything. This is a truck. That's it. It's a truck. It's a truck with a little dude inside. Okay, so it's a truck with a dude, but and that was what made me not buy Ultra Magnus. Once I found out that there was no small robot mode, there was just the headmaster pilot and a truck that didn't even detach. Come on. So yeah. Anyway, that is why he gets on the list for one of the. You are among the worst of primes. I'm sorry.
I still function.
So let's. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this next one because it's pretty obvious. Titanium series. For years, I've heard people lament that Transformers of today just aren't as good as the old ones because they're all plastic. So, I believe that Galoob made a line, and I don't know how that works out. Maybe Hasbro owns Galoob at this point. It's hard to say, but I want to say that it was Galoob. I could be wrong about that. Came up with a line of Transformers called Titanium, and they were made of metal, at least.
Excellent.
And so, this is Optimus Prime, based very heavily off of the Dreamwave War Within comics, which was a great design. And so he looks very cool. But here's the problem with War Within Prime. He's floppy. He is so floppy. He can't hold a pose. He can't even hold his gun. Wait here, let me try. Okay, so you have this really cool looking mold, and here's the problem, and this is why I argue that the loss of metal in these toys is not necessarily the worst thing in the world. The plastics that we have now are stronger and better than they ever were in 1984. And you can do a lot more with them, but you have these heavy metal parts, and then these plastic joints can't support them. Yeah, come on. Hold yourself up. He can't do it. So I'm gonna transform him, and I almost hate to include him because I love the design. It's futuristic, it's cool looking, and it's distinctive, and I think that it's a great version of Optimus Prime. I think that they capture the character really well while also making him look distinctly non-human vehicle. But the tolerances, getting the tolerances right with these metal parts, and especially getting the plastic to hold them, it doesn't work. And I'm gonna transform. Notice that I'm not even talking you through the transform, because you know what? If you don't have him, you don't need to buy him. Let's see. Okay, this goes right like that, and then this goes up here like that. There's a little hole in there, and then his arms pivot around. I don't know if I could replace the... So Mason Fur was just asking if we could replace the plastic joints. I don't know the answer to that. You know, chances are any plastic joint that I were to create would not be stronger than a manufactured part. Certainly you're not going to get strength from rapid prototyped parts. So, you know, unfortunately, I don't know that there's a whole lot that you can do to make this better than what it is. And you can see that the pieces, the tolerances aren't very tight. They don't really interlock together the way that you get with precision plastic parts. It's cool and it's heavy. And let me put it on the other camera. So, you know, that is a neat vehicle, and he has a lot of neat elements, but overall, he's not playable. And he can't even hold a good pose, so he doesn't even really look good on your shelf. So, yeah, what do you do? And also, what do I do with this gun when he's in vehicle mode? There's nowhere to put it. Come on! You know, give me a peg in a hole. So, yeah, that's Titanium Series Optimus Prime, and I am very sorry because, you know, the design is cool, and there's so much potential here that just isn't realized because the materials just don't work. And I think that that's ultimately what killed the Titanium series. And that's a little bit about manufacturing and material selection. You know, sometimes it's great to say, oh yeah, you know, it should be metal. Metal was better. But you know what? I'm just going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say no. Metal actually isn't better. And if you want fully posable, articulated toys with all these different joints so that you can get them in dramatic poses and stuff like that, guess what? You don't want them to be made of metal. Sorry, metal's heavy, plastic's lighter, plastic's gonna support its weight. The joint, you can't make the joints out of metal. I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to put like springs in there and ratchet things, but then you're paying like $200, $300 per toy. And I don't want to pay that. So
this is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. So, let's go ahead and move on to Armada Prime. And see, I've got mixed feelings about Armada Prime because there were two of them. This is the smaller one. This is the one I like. In fact, it's funny. Way back in the day, I had a website. That's right. It was called TransformerBastards.com. And if you go to the Wayback Machine, you can still see my website. Just type in Transformer Bastards, and I've got to go to this just to show. So this was a blast from the past. This is one of my articles. Okay, so this is, let me hit back here. So, yeah, this is TransformerBastards.com. And I had all these articles, and you can see that a lot of the photos didn't make it into the Wayback Machine. But, so I did an article about Armada Prime. And it's funny because I was saying the same thing then. It was the best of primes. It was the worst of primes. And then I have this whole article about it, which I'm not going to bore you with. But it is kind of funny that 10 years later, give or take, I'm still bitching about this toy. So this is the small version. I love this version of Optimus Prime. I love the truck mode. I love the gradient. I love the big knobby tires. I love that he's not super realistic, but very distinctly a truck. You know, he came with what looks like Leader 1 but isn't called Leader 1. This isn't Sparkplug. This is like I don't remember this guy's name. But you know, he plugs into the top, or you can actually plug him into a hole here, and you know, right now he's a gun, but he's also like a little jet, because in Armada minicons, Overrun was this guy's name, and you can flip up the peg and turn it into a tail, and then he's this little jet. And I feel like this was intended to be Leader 1, but they, for copyright reasons, they didn't use the name. Instead, they applied that name to Megatron's minicon, which turned into a tank and didn't look anything like a silver jet. Nonetheless, this guy was cool, and then you could transform him into a little robot. Minicons were cool, you know, little robots. I just broke him. You know, okay, so anyway, that's what he looks like. Yeah, that's what he looks like if I just hold the thing in place. So yeah, that's enough for leader or overrun or run over. I broke him. So we're just going to set that aside, and we're going to focus on Armada Prime. Love this truck mode. Okay, love it. And then you transform him, and he's got a great little transform too. You pull out the front grille and swing it around, and then put it up against the chest like that. And then you pull the arms out like this, and then flip these up like this. And then you do that, and then you pull these around, and you slide the forearms up to reveal the fists, and then you can pull them forward, and then you extend the legs and flip down the feet and separate the legs. And look at that. You have a fully posable, kick-ass looking small Optimus Prime that is a real deviation from Optimus Prime molds up to this point. There's no windows here. You know, he is a very distinctly different design, and yet there is no doubt that this is Optimus Prime. I love this design. It is bold. It is distinctive. It is posable. And you know, if I hadn't broken Overrun, he would have his little gun. Right here, let's take what's left of Overrun, and I don't want to break it more. So okay, there we go. There we go. And so you can give him his, you know, his blaster, and you know, he can shoot guys. And yeah, you know, Overrun is essentially a triple changer. He goes from gun mode, which is not a bad gun mode, into robot mode, and into a jet mode. And then also, of course, because he's an Armada figure, he has a gimmick built in. And so if you have the minicon in here, you can put that back and forth, and then he jiggles his arms, which I think it's supposed to be punching action, but I feel like it looks more like he's firing in rapid succession. You know, he's doing a kind of thing. And see, he's got guns on his arms. Look at that. He's got guns right there. So, you know, you put him in his I'm firing my guns pose, like that, and then you go, oh, whoops, pulled Overrun off. There we go. Yeah! Let's do it on the, so, yeah, and he's got, thank you, Mason Fur. Mason Fur was just saying super awesome wheels. He does have super awesome wheels. Let's go to the super close. Here, let's do this. And so, once again, let's just get this feature right. Okay, you got the arms, and then so that That is Armada Optimus Prime. That is the small version, and they made all sorts of repaints of this. They made a Cybertron version where they actually made a Cybertron Planet key that just had a mini-con port. You know, that little 5mm hole with the peg right in the middle. They just molded that into the key, so you would stick the key on the back of it, and that would activate the feature. So that way they didn't have to put like a special planet key slot in him. But he had slightly different colors. The blues were replaced by blacks. But of course I got that. There was a translucent version that I got. I don't remember where I got that, but it looks awesome. There was a Nemesis Prime version that was done in black and blue and red, and it was really awesome. And I bought the shit out of that mold. If they re-released this mold today, Hasbro. Okay, everybody else, just you know, take a moment, drink your tropical drinks. I'm talking to Hasbro right now. Okay, Hasbro. Okay, come close. Okay, you go ahead and you reissue this in whatever colors you want. I will buy it. Yes, I am just telling you. You reissue this mold. I don't care what you want to call them. I'm buying it. It's an awesome toy. I love this mold. Okay, everybody else can come back. Hopefully you went to the bathroom and maybe got some snacks. And speaking of snacks, I think I'm going to go ahead and have a couple grasshoppers here. I got some grasshoppers just like that. Yeah, it's protein. So yeah. So, small Armada Prime, you are not among the worst of primes. Oh, okay, so Monica went ahead. So we have Ultra Magnus in that mold, and he's great. And we have Nemesis Prime in that mold, and he's also great. And there's other ones, and you know, you don't actually have to get them, but she's gonna get them. She's gonna get them. I know she is. So okay, she's not. Okay, I did eat more of the hot grasshoppers though, so that's good. So you might be wondering, why would I be showing you Armada Prime if I love him so much on a live stream all about the bad primes? Well, let's just go ahead and go to the other camera view and we will talk about that. This, let's move Power Master Prime out of the way. This is large Armada Prime, and there's, I don't even know how you make the trailer like link up. I think it has something to do with the gun, and I'm not sure if I care enough to figure it out. But so, oh wait, no, it goes this way. Okay, it goes this way. So here we go. There. Okay, so there. This is large Armada Optimus Prime. And I want to like him. I want to tell you that he's awesome. He's got a trailer that for some reason has treads. That's an unusual feature for a trailer, since the trailer is usually pulled by the truck. So it seems like that would make it harder to pull. Yes, Kyoji is correct. It's a battery operated trailer. So let's just go ahead. Let's go ahead and let's show you the trailer, and we're going to see if this is going to work. I did try it out earlier and it sort of wanted to. So let's turn this on. Oh, okay, there. So it's already trying to do stuff. And we're gonna put it in the middle. Okay, so I'm gonna let's go here because so this is the truck, and right away you'll notice that we've got two giant robot fists sticking out of the back of the truck. That already, I mean, and you know, you've got the spacing on these wheels. Yeah, you know, the truck just doesn't look as good. You know, now you can see some electronics through the windshield, and that's cool. It's always cool to see the electronics. And I will say that the electronic gimmick that they came up with, it's cool as homemade shit. You know, let's just take a look. They are not the same tires. So Monica was asking if it was actually the same tires because they seem small on this one. They are not the same, but they are very similar. But they are a little bit larger, but obviously not as large. They're not scaled up as much. So I'm going to transform this into a robot, and at some point the trailer is going to spring to life. So we're going to flip down the feet, and we're going to extend the legs, and then we're going to flip up the grill, and he transforms the same way. So you'd think that a toy that's pretty much the same design except bigger would be awesome, but it's not. But I will show you the awesome part. So once again, it's happening. It's happening. It's trying to happen. Here, let's do this. We'll help it. There we go. Okay, look at that. Oh, there. There we go. Look at that. It transformed into sort of a battle station, some kind of battle station-y thing. It looks like that. So yeah, that happens automatically because as you transform Optimus Prime here, it sends an infrared signal to the trailer, which I don't know how it would be an infrared signal, because infrared needs to be like point of sight, but I think that the wiki article said that it was an infrared signal, and I've had infrared controllers, and if you don't have like the little infrared diode, I mean, I can see the diode, but where is it on here? And I didn't even have Prime. I guess maybe once you start transforming it, it just turns on the infrared diode, and then at some point the sensor sees it when you're moving him around. I don't know how it works. It seems like a radio signal would work better, but it obviously works because I started transforming him over here, and it's on the table over there, and it still started going. So I'm gonna finish transforming him, and so then we pull the fists around, and once again we slide these up, and that's Optimus Prime. And now I have kit bashed this. For one thing, I added shoulder joints right here because originally he could do this. You know, he could move his arms like this, and he could, you know, pivot at the elbows, and he can move his legs like this, but that's all the articulation you got with this figure. He was very, very rigid. They had these big triangular plastic things in here that become the shoulders in the Super Robot mode, but they also kept you from being able to move the legs outwards. So I cut those out so that he would be able to spread his legs a little bit and get into that kind of a pose. And then I also, this used to be a peg that went into this piece here, and then it was attached with a screw. So what I did was I replaced it with with a piece of wire that I wrapped around the peg on this, and then I have it going around the screw hole, the screw boss inside this piece, and it actually gives him the ability to move his arms away from his sides. And see, that's another thing on the, that this kind of gets in the way, so you can't do much with these. So I added a lot of articulation to help this guy, and it makes a huge difference. And then you can give him his gun, which is a likeness of the Gen 1 gun, except, it's got some clear bits. And he's got, so that's him, and he doesn't have the cool gradated black on the front, which I kind of miss. And his body dynamics, for some reason, he just doesn't quite look as cool as the smaller version. And it's subtle, but it makes such a big difference. So and that's not the only thing he does. This also combines with his trailer. So we're going to start to transform him, and then when the trailer starts doing its thing, I'll switch the camera over. So essentially, you kind of turn him back into a truck almost. You're gonna take these and put them up like this, and this time you're going to put the arms forward rather than. And what's funny is the last half hour before I started this live stream, I had to do a fix on him because the joint right here broke. It broke entirely. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to fix it, but I did manage to get it fixed. I glued it back together, and then I bent around a piece of wire to fit into the recesses in that joint, and used a soldering iron to heat it up and press it into the plastic, and then I filled it in with super glue and then packed baking soda on the super glue, which kicks it and makes it dry instantly, and then I filled it in with a little bit more super glue and a little bit more baking soda, and then filed it off and put it back together. And that was all in the last half hour before this live stream, just so that he would be ready for the live stream, because when I was looking at him before the live stream, it just broke. And I couldn't believe it, but it was bad. So anyway, now we're going to spread the legs apart completely. Oh, and it's happening. That's what triggers it. So here we go. Wait here. There. Okay. And there. Okay, so that is that, and I'm gonna go ahead and help it the rest of the way. So, these have a little peg right there, and that goes in there, and just putting in the pegs kind of shores everything up. Okay, and now we'll go back to this. So we've got him like this, and then you take the grill and you go ahead and pull it off. And by the way, there is a little matrix molded into the front here, and that's cool. I'm glad. Here, let me put it on super close. So, it's cool that he has a matrix. You can't remove it, but it's nice that they put it there. And, but, still, that's not enough to make me love the fact that it's not very posable and isn't as dynamic to look at. And then you go like this. And so you essentially transform the front half of the truck, and then the super robot head comes up, and you put out the little ear wings, and then you just kind of get the fists as much out of the way as you can, and you can rotate them up, and that's all right. You can do that. And then the legs, okay, so you rotate these like this. At least that's the way that you originally did, and then this was filled in with this triangle, and then you flip the feet down to reveal those fists. And you can rotate these around like that. And so that makes the top of the robot. Now see, since I cut that away and it kind of takes away from the aesthetic triangle, what I can do is I could also put these like right here. Maybe I can't. You know what? I'm going to leave it like that. And apparently I'm getting a present. I am getting a present right now. I don't know why I don't know what I did to deserve getting a present, but if we go to the other camera, we can see that there is a present box. And so I've got this. Let's see. This is a surprise. I didn't know that I was getting a present. Ooh, nachos! Okay. Well, that's a pretty good present. Okay, everybody get nachos. Okay, yeah, if you need to step away for a moment, get your nachos and put cheese on them and put them in the microwave for, what, about 20 seconds? 15 seconds, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody deserves nachos. We all deserve nachos. So, and you know what goes well with nachos? So, all right. Nachos, thank you. All right. Hey, that means that we're good for like another 2 hours. So, anyway, back to Armada Prime. Then you put this together, and this fits on there like that, and it makes noises. And so you have Super Robot Prime, which is sporting kind of a samurai look. And like I said, I have mixed feelings. On one hand, this is an engineering marvel. They made it so that the trailer automatically transforms. And they made him combine with his trailer. And that's impressive as hell. Okay, whoever the engineers were that had to solve that, like, I feel like an executive somewhere said, hey, can you make this happen? And some really smart guy said, you know what? Yeah, I think I can make it happen. Or chances are he was Japanese, and he said it in Japanese. I can't speak Japanese, so you'll just have to imagine the Japanese version of, yeah, I think I can make that happen. And so, oh, Osaka Jack is here. Hey, Osaka Jack, you just missed nachos. Wait. This is for Osaka Jack. We're once again down to that danger point. Okay, so Osaka Jack, I need your help. Okay, I was just talking about how the designer of this, probably he doesn't want to stay attached. So this is Armada Optimus Prime in his super robot mode, and the trailer automatically transforms. So I was just talking to everybody about how probably some business person at Takara or something said to the engineers, "Hey, can we get the trailer to automatically transform?" And the engineer was like, "Yeah, I think I can do that." So how would a Japanese engineer, because I'm assuming that the engineer was Japanese, how would the Japanese engineer say, "Yeah, I think I can do that"? and go, except that I can't read kanji, so you're gonna have to like phonetically spell it out in English letters. This is not gonna work at all. I'm just gonna drink.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yup.
So, from the standpoint of an engineering achievement, I totally respect this. But when I think about a toy that I can play with and I can show off on my shelf and I can get into dramatic poses, this guy he's got the jiggly hand gimmick. And I guess transformation in itself is a gimmick, but he's a great figure. And he's got great body dynamics, and he's got a cool design, and he looks great, and he's fun to play with. And I've gotten hours and hours and hours of entertainment out of this guy, and I'm still enjoying him today, just having him out of the box. And this version is... Oh, what? Okay, so Osaka Jack is not... okay, we'll get back there. Osaka Jack says, the engineer would probably be resigned to do it, but hesitant, so you would probably say, So, Ka. Maybe like that. So, Ka. I'm hoping that I'm... And nod. So I'm hoping that I'm doing... Jiggly Hand Gimmick is Osaka Jack's stage name. So, thank you, Jiggly Hand Gimmick. Wait, here. And we've also got nachos, which, here. So... But once you've seen this transform itself a couple of times, I'm afraid that the wow factor, for all of the effort that went into making it do that, it doesn't make it a funner toy. And it doesn't, and the fact that there's so many limitations that puts on the small robot, that makes it not be posable, that makes it less dynamic, that makes the vehicle mode so labored that and it keeps doing that. I can't play with this. And so that is why, sadly, it is sad, but you are among the worst of primes. I'm sorry. I feel like there should be some sad music playing, I feel bad. So, let's move forward. Essentially another year. So let's move on to Cybertron. Now, Cybertron is a Transformers line that I really liked. Some of my favorite Transformer designs come from the Cybertron line, including... Oh, excuse me. I've had... wait, who arrived just in time? Wait. Mason Fur... Clay. How tall is he? Okay, Mason Fur was just asking how tall is he. Do we have the tape measure around here? I might have put it away. So, Mason Fur was just asking how tall is Armada Prime in his super mode, and Monica is grabbing a tape measure. Because I didn't think to bring one to the live stream. So, we're gonna... Oh, okay. So, alright, Ashy Slashy. Thank you. Be careful of my drink. No, no, you can't have any. Just go. Ashy Slashy is going to kill me one of these days. So let's go ahead. We got a ruler here. No! Damn Ashy Slashy. Okay, so let's just go ahead and we'll measure him. He is almost 12 inches tall. Almost 12 inches. So that would be, let's see. About 165 millimeters. So, yeah, almost 12 inches or 165 millimeters. So, we're going to set him aside. So, Cybertron. Transformers Cybertron. Really great line. The Autobots, which, I'm going to pull out Rodimus here. Rodimus, actually, I really love this version of Rodimus. And I know you're thinking, well, he's here. Does that make him a bad Prime? No. In fact, let's go ahead and... Yes, I was talking about Energon. Oh, did I say Cybertron? Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I will take my penalty. So, Energon. Energon was the line. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to get it wrong. We should be playing that when I tell a Prime that he can, that he's a worst of Prime. She gave me nachos. How am I supposed to not eat the nachos when I'm on my live stream? So, this is Energon Rodimus, and I love this toy. He is not a worst of Primes. But he has this gimmick, as all of the Autobots of the Energon line did, where, let's just go ahead and do a little bit of transforming here. You kind of fold his arms out of the way, turn them back in. He turns into a rocket truck. That's so cool. And we're going to talk about him later, like in another live stream, but not in this one. So we're going to do this, and then you split the body. All of the Autobots had this ability to split their body, and then they would combine with any other Autobot. And yes, there was a lot of dull surprise in Dreamwave Comics, and I remember this one issue that ended with Devastator showing up, and they show this panel of the reactions of all the different Transformers that were there, including Devastator, and they were all going. And then Devastator was going. And it kind of looked like Devastator was looking at something, like there was something unseen on the panel that we as readers didn't know what it was. And I remember getting to the end of that issue, it's like, what is he looking at? And then getting to the next issue, and there was nothing. He wasn't looking at anything. The Dreamwave artist, I guess that was Pat Lee's thing, he drew the same expression on every face. So, yeah, dull surprise. Anyway, so all of the Energon characters had this connection thing built into their bodies so that they could combine. What? Yeah, the Autobots. Yes. So, this is small Energon Optimus Prime. And I will say that small Energon Optimus Prime is better than large Energon Optimus Prime. Let's go ahead and go to the other camera. This is him. And from the front, he's pretty cool looking. You know, he's obviously a truck. And then you look at the side, and he is a truck with arms and a head behind him. And the big version is no better. It is very obviously a truck front with arms and a head just kind of behind him. It's an absurd vehicle mode. It doesn't look like anything, and you know I like what they were trying to do with the vehicle mode, but this is just stupid looking. I'm sorry, this is stupid looking. I can't get my imagination to do enough heavy lifting to make this into a cool vehicle. And so this and the big version was the same way. You had the gun storage in the back, which I'm always a fan of having weapon storage built into the vehicle. And then you pull down the legs and flip down the feet, and then, you know, the arms are right here. You don't have to guess where the arms are. And they just kind of come out here, and then you do that, and oh, where's the head? Oh wait, it's obvious. The head is right here. And we'll just twist that around there, and then you've got the super robot helmet, which is there, which is used for the combined form. And then I guess you flip these against the back, and or maybe you kind of, I don't know, you can sort of do that. I maybe if we do this here, we'll do that. That way it's at least a little bit higher on his back, and he looks like he has a big background. Okay, he's got little chicken legs, and the big version was the same. Little chicken legs, and a rotund body. Look at this. Let's go to the other camera. So, is that what he's supposed to be made to look like? Huh. That's the okay, well, anyway. So, let's go to the other camera. So, this is him. And look at him. He's fat. I mean, I don't want to body shame anyone. I could stand to lose a few pounds, but this is not a heroic figure physique. I guess maybe if you're a sumo wrestler, but he's fat.
Spare me this mockery of justice.
Exactly. He's a mockery of Optimus Prime. And I remember reading the wiki article, and it said that fans didn't like him because he was too much of a deviation from the traditional look of Optimus Prime. Well, this is the version that came before. Okay? This is a design deviation. There's no windows in the front. He's got a grill here. He's got big knobby tires on his shoulders. This is a very different Optimus Prime. And this is coming right off of Beast Wars, where Optimus Primal had been a gorilla for 5 years. And done all sorts of, had a lot of different versions of that going on, and even had a mouth. Okay, the problem with this design is not that he was a deviation, because if anything, this is trying to go back more to Gen 1 with the windows and the chest and everything. It's just that he looks like crap. Okay? Let me just tell you, okay, I'm sorry, I don't mean to yell at everybody. Back away from your screens. I'm talking to the author of that wiki article. This doesn't suck because it's a deviation. This sucks because it sucks. So, oh, look at this. My drink has refilled itself. Oh, that is so good. And I keep drinking most of it. That's a problem. So, oh, I'm starting to feel it now. I just realized. Yeah. So, and this is the better version of the two. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this one is because I do have the larger version, but I kit bashed it heavily. I wanted to make it cool, but I failed. And thank you, Savage Shark. This sucks because it sucks. So, so this guy also has the combining thing. So with this, you flip the head back. Let's just pull this out of the way. And then we're going to pull apart the body like that. And then we're going to swing the legs back out of the way. And we're going to go ahead and... Actually, we're going to rotate this first. You rotate the entire back end and then swing the legs out of the way. Let's flip the feet down. And then we'll put the head down, and now we'll put the helmet on it. And we can actually rotate the legs around and maybe flip them up to make them look like something. And then we're gonna put this down like this, and see, now here's where I just don't understand. I don't understand. So you don't flip the hands around when you transform it into vehicle mode, because the hands go up into these little holes in the back of this platform thingy. So the hands get covered no matter what. So they make the fists so that they can flip around, and you have, I guess, this little 4-barreled gun thing. Let's show it on the super close. So he's got a 4-barreled... Oh, wait, here. Let's put the lens on. So he's got this 4-barreled gun thing, I guess. And he's got that on both hands. So, if I wanted, I could do that. And then you take this, and I always liked combining them with Rodimus, which is why I brought Rodimus out. So you just do this, and okay, for the most part, I'm digging that, except that he doesn't have hands. Why doesn't he have hands? And see, here's the thing. If you flip around the original hands, okay, now his thumbs are on the wrong side. He's got backwards hands. Why didn't they just put? I mean, they have these things that seem to be here only for this mode. Why couldn't they give him a freaking vest that faced the right direction? Yes, again.
This is some fucked up repugnant shit.
Exactly. Why can't I get hands? These aren't hands. He doesn't have hands. I like the combined mode. I want him to have hands. So a lot of times I just flip these around, and then I could maybe do this so that the thumb's on the inside. I mean, it's on the bottom, so his pinky is his thumb. And maybe if you, I don't understand. Would somebody please explain to me why they didn't? You know what? I just need to kit bash it. I need to glue in some.
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here. No, thank you. How are you?
So yeah, I want to like it, but I don't understand. So that is so I'm about to go. So Savage Shark was just saying I'm about to go Super Saiyan on my Transformers toy rage. So this is the better, but Energon Prime small version. I'm sorry, but you're among the worst of primes. I'm gonna cry over that. So let me show you my large version that I heavily kit bashed. And I'm sorry that I don't have an unmolested version to show you, but it really started out looking exactly like the small version except bigger. So this is the big version. Let's go ahead and set it down, and we'll just put it on the other cam. So, by the way, that was really good with the music. So this is the large version of Energon Prime, and you can see that I painted the cab, and I took out. See, this version had a sound box in it, and the sound box made it so that there was no room inside the body for any transforming to happen, which is why the arms had to go back to here, and the head just kind of had to sort of rest on top with a bunch of apparatus. And so I took out the sound box, and I actually moved it. Let's see. Oh yeah, I can look up a picture of the original version. So let's go ahead and look up a picture of the original version. Let's go. Okay, so here we go, and I'm just adjusting my internet view. So we're gonna go show the internet version. So you can see that the internet version, or the large version, looked just like the small version. Here's the vehicle mode. Notice that they very discreetly show it from the front so that it's not as obvious that the sides are just a truck front with robot arms that are going back to the ends, and you know, the head sort of folds down in here, and then there's a whole bunch of kibble on top, and then it has these extra drone vehicles that are each a different color, because yeah, that's great. And they get carried in this trailer, and once again, also notice the photography here. They are covering up his little chicken legs by having the drones in front of him, but he has the same little chicken legs that I showed you in the small version. I don't know why. And then there's this kibble, which goes through a complicated transform to become a helmet for his super robot mode, and you can see the super robot mode over here. So that is what he originally looked like, and now you can kind of appreciate what I did, for better, for worse. And I will admit that I didn't succeed. I tried really hard, but I did not succeed. So the first thing I did was I took out that horrible sound box that was occupying so much of the back portion of his body, and I moved it into the back of the trailer here, because there was a whole bunch of extra space here, and you know, there was like I put the battery compartment in here, and so you can still get the sounds, and there's 4 of them. Let's see. Wait here. Let me go ahead and get onto the better cam so that this can get closer to the microphone. So there, we got that. And then we just have this little selector switch here. So I'll go to position 2. And see, that's the submarine sound, which is important because one of the drones is a submarine. And that's some kind of an engine noise. I guess that's maybe the digger. Let's see. Okay, this is for the helicopter. So then that's obviously the fire truck. And so let me show you the drones. You got to see the drones in their original form in that internet view. So we've got drone number 4 here. This is the sub, and see, it has this little launcher thing. So if you slide this thing, then it launches the vehicle. There we go. And see, we have a sub, and it was originally blue, and I gave it a bunch of red detail so that it would look like it belonged. And then we have the digger thing, which also has a launcher, and that was originally yellow, and again I gave it some red detail so that it would look like it belonged. And see, then we have this helipad right here, and so we've got the helicopter thing here, and it you have to do some transforming to make it into a helicopter. It doesn't just come out automatically. So you know, it's not devoid. You know what? This guy may be the precursor to Alpha Bravo, because he turns into a limb. So maybe this is what eventually became Alpha Bravo and so many other Combiner Wars characters. Nonetheless, so helicopter, sort of, kind of chunky looking, but you got that. And then we open up that, and we have the fire truck, and I guess it would be able to roll down here like that. And it, you know, it has these little things on the top which pivot around, which is kind of cool. And it's got a ladder which can sort of extend. There we go. So we got a ladder there, and so a little mini fire truck, and so those are the drones. And then let's go ahead and we'll get on the other camera here and show this with the with all of its, you know, we'll open up some doors here, and oh, we'll put down this thing. So that is that, and then we'll oh, here, here, flip that up. So there, it's able to do that and that. We got sort of a radar dish thing going here, and we got those. We can close, I don't know. We can close whatever we want. We can have that open and close that one, and then open that one, and we can put the helicopter on here, and have the fire truck in here, and put the sub, and yeah, we can do that, and that, and see the drill thing. Its drill spins as you push it, which is cool. You know, I like that. And then it marked up my foam, so I'm gonna have to flip that for the next thing. And then the sub has this little clamp thing, which is very handy for when you turn it into an arm, and I guess it's a clamp thing for in sub mode. Like it could be like going underwater, and it could be grabbing something. It's a hand. And so I've shown you the ladder. That's really about all you get. So that's the Prime Force. I guess that's what it's called. And then we've got Optimus Prime himself. So after removing the sound box from in here, then I attempted to make it so that the arms could go inside, but there still wasn't quite enough space with the joints that came on. Yeah, it was kind of a Power Rangers sort of thing. So Savage Shark was just asking what was the sound supposed to be for again. Let's see if we can do this and have it appropriate for the vehicle. Okay, so wait here, we'll show. Okay, we've got fire truck. And then we've got, I think helicopter was next. Yeah. So there we got helicopter. And then we've got drilly thing. Oh. So yeah, we got drilly. And then we've got, oh, no. You know... Ah, there we go. Just shut up! You just shut up! I'm trying here! Doesn't really look much like a submarine, but okay. So that's the sounds, and the sounds go with every vehicle. And here's what I'm throwing out to the designers of this toy. Why did you make an ugly-ass Optimus Prime toy when you could have easily fit the sound box in the trailer? The sounds don't even go with Optimus Prime. They go with the things that are being carried in the trailer. Why? Why? Why?
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Thank you for that. That was really appropriate. So yeah, I don't understand. If I was able to stick that sound box in there with the crude tools that I had in my apartment 12 years ago, then why couldn't you? Your engineers are supposed to be smart. So, I'm gonna go Super Saiyan again. You know, you don't know, maybe my hair turned blonde underneath this hat. So, yeah, I'm going to set this aside for now. I tried to make the arms fit in, and they still just didn't quite fit in. So I have one that I can force inside. I loosen the screw here. Oh. That's my therapy. Helps bring me down when I get a little bit too up. So, so I have one arm tucked inside there where the sound box used to be. And then I have another arm that goes up on top here. And then I added this. This is a piece from a Micro Men set that I had when I was a very small child. And it's got the same 5mm post as Transformers toys, because for those of you who remember your Transformers history, Transformers came from Micro Men and Diaclone. So, yeah, that's really cool, and I just made it into like an air hood, whatever those things are called, that are on top of trucks. And, you know, and so that kind of disguises the arm, and then I just kind of have it on him as a shield. Airfoil! Think aerofoil. Aerofoil. So it's an aerofoil, and that way he actually looks like a truck. He no longer has arms going back here, because reasons. And then the other thing that I did was this whole panel here, just like in the small version, this whole panel was attached to the back, and it just stayed there. And then he has these little chicken legs that just they look terrible. So what I did was I detached them from the back. You can even see the pin here. Let's go to the super close. So you can even still see the pin that these panels used to be attached to. They used to be hinged up here, and I took them out and I attached them to the legs themselves. And in that way, I figured I could help bulk up the legs because they desperately needed something. And see, here's the thing. This is a little bit about character design. And I've talked about this before. A good character should have a memorable silhouette, but having a memorable silhouette is not necessarily enough. You want to have a dynamic silhouette. And, if you're going to have a stereotypical heroic character, and let's face it, Optimus Prime is the type form for stereotypical heroic characters. He's got big husky legs, and then his limbs taper and get smaller as they work up to a smaller waist, and then getting larger as they get to the shoulders, and then big husky shoulders. Because for whatever reason, that's what we identify with. Yeah, let's show He-Man. He-Man is a great example of a typical type form of a heroic character, and this is the Mega Bloks version of He-Man. We're going to show him on the super close. So you look at He-Man, and he's muscle bound, and he's got a little waist, and then he's got the big boots, which just kind of exaggerate those proportions. And so He-Man, he's a great example of that stature. Big, solidly mounted feet. It makes him look like he's stable, like he can't be moved. And then it tapers up and gets thinner as you get up through the thighs, and then you have a smaller waist, and then from there it starts to expand as you gradually work your way up to a larger chest, and then big husky shoulders, and then usually some sizable forearms, because that makes you think of strength and everything. And then if you want to exaggerate the heft of the body, you give it a smaller head. And so then you look at wait a minute, what did I do with little version? Here he is. And so we look at, oh, Cheeky Boy is here. Hey, Cheeky Boy. This one is for you. This is my third one. That's a problem. So, anyway, so we go back to the original version before I kit bashed it, which is why I brought out this small one. And so we look at this version of Optimus Prime as I transform him. And we look at his body dynamics. And this is really what's wrong with this whole design. Thank you. Well, I guess this has to kind of go up in order to make room for that to go up. So you look at this, and actually, you know what? The way that it's supposed to go is down like this. So I'm going to temporarily transform this how the instructions say. Now let's look at that. This guy has tiny feet, little skinny, like I keep calling them chicken legs. And actually when I transform this one has the advantage of being able to slide these down, which does make it a little bit better looking. But the big one does not. And so to show you what the big one looks like before I kit bashed it, I'm having them slid up like this. So you have little tiny feet, and then bigger legs, and then he is widest at his waist. And look at his profile. I mean, his belly sticks out farther than anything else. And that's why I always called this guy Obesimus. Because he's fat. I'm sorry. He's fat. And you know what? If you're overweight, that's okay. I'm not saying that you're a bad person, but you don't look like Optimus Prime if you have this body style. And then he's got these little skinny arms, and then his transform turns into a truck that doesn't look like anything. So thank you for that. So anyway, I attached these to the back of the legs, and I'm going to go ahead and transform him so that you can see what I tried to do. we're gonna bring these down, and we're going to flip out the feet. And look at those. Those are terrible. Those are awful. That's not cool. So, you know, I made it so that these things kind of go down here, and then that gives the illusion that his legs are a little bit bigger. And then you can pull this out, and you remove the little aerofoil. And I'm just going to have him hold it as a shield, or he can drop it and throw it on the floor. Okay, we're going to try that again. I'm going to have him hold it as a shield. And we flip up the head, and then I pull the other arm out, and then we'll flip that around and pull out the things. And so that is my revised version of Optimus Prime. He no longer has a shit ton of back kibble. The extra pieces for the helmet for the Super Robot mode are still there, but they are tucked inside the space left by removing that annoying sound box. And you know, I think that he's better, but I did the best that I could. And he's still not great. He's better, but not great. And so I might as well show you the Super Robot mode because, you know, they worked so hard. Is that the word? They worked to give him a Super Robot mode. I will say that when he combines with Wing Saber and does he combine with anybody else? Because Jetfire, maybe? I don't know. No. Oh, well, no. The combined mode with Omega Supreme was awful. Yeah, he had a couple of other Transformers that he can combine with. And at some point, maybe we will discuss those in a future live stream, but I'm not going to get into it now. And his little... See, like I said, the helmet is made up of all these little tiny pieces that come apart very easily. And so here we go. I'm going to pop that back together. And so, yeah, you put the sort of the helmet around his head. And so there's his Super Robot head. And let's just go ahead and take this off for now. And then we're going to flip up his feet. And we're going to use the drones for what they're really designed for, which is turning into body parts. Because that's all that they do. I mean, you know, yeah, they have the spinning drill and the spinning drill. And, oh, and a ladder. There's a ladder in there. So let's see. This trying to do. Oh, what was that? Oh yeah. Okay. So, I'm trying to get this. It's kind of stuck. So, this is supposed to pull out here, and I haven't pulled it out in like 30 years. So, oh, there we go. Okay. So, there we go. So we're gonna turn that into an arm, and phrasing. Thank you. So we're gonna turn the submarine into an arm. And I think that the helicopter becomes an arm because it's already in the air. So of course that becomes an arm. And if we there we go. So we go like that, and then I think that these do something. I guess I should have practiced this before, but I didn't. There's a fist in there somewhere. I don't know what I'm... Oh, okay, wait, here. Okay, there we go. Well, that's kind of crappy. I'm gonna make this a leg. I don't like it as an arm. So, yeah, I'm going to make it into a leg. So, maybe as a leg, it'll be a little bit less crappy. There we go. Yeah, this is definitely leg material. Yeah, we need a drill hand. You know what? You're correct. We need a drill hand. So, let's, okay, so this is a leg. And drill hand. Definitely drill hand. We kind of pull... let's see here. It's got this little cockpit which is out of scale for a human driver if he's fitting side by side with another vehicle in Prime's trailer. But hey, you know, a toy like this. So oh wait, here, there, it's like that. So we're gonna have a drill hand, and then we'll collapse the ladder and do this. Maybe. There we go. Okay. And that's a foot. And then form feet and legs. Form arms and body. Oh, there. And okay, now by the instructions, you're supposed to open up the doors, which always fall off, and kind of fill in the gap. I don't like that as much, because the doors always fall off, and it kind of takes away from the primeness. So I just keep those closed, and you can see the Prime chest, and that's not bad. You know, that's not terrible. And, you know, if I so choose, there's plenty of 5mm holes that I can stick this on. I usually just kind of stick it in the back of the shoulder here, out of the way. But, yeah, that is Energon Optimus Prime combined with his components. And, you know, the painting everything red helped. You know, it at least helped it make it look more like a single robot. So I'm sorry, I was momentarily distracted by Monica's message that she ate most of the tarantula. And that's, I don't know who I married anymore. If anybody out there wants to help me, consider this a cry for help. So, yeah, Kyoji was saying he really needs a sword. He absolutely needs a sword. Here, let's rotate the drill around that way. So, that's him, and I don't hate the super robot mode, but with all the different colors, he just, you know, just not that cool. Oh, okay. We've actually got the blazing sword, and oh, unfortunately I didn't give him a hand that can hold the blazing sword. Wait, here, maybe. There we go. Well, you know what? We're just gonna imagine. So there we go. Blazing sword. Okay, that's enough of that. So that is Energon Optimus Prime. And yeah, the Energon Optimus Prime toy, to make matters worse, I mean, he was already a mess. You can see that he was just a mess of bad design decisions. But the early revs were released with a mouth. And I'm sorry, this was at a time when Optimus Prime did not have a mouth. Okay? And I remember seeing a list of the top 20 things that were wrong with Energon Optimus Prime, and number 20 was that he didn't have a mouth. Or number 20 is Optimus Prime does not have a mouth. And then number 13 was Optimus Prime does not have a mouth. And you know that the number one thing that was wrong with Energon Optimus Prime? Optimus Prime does not have a mouth. So, what's great is he could totally Robeast kill Omega Supreme. You know, he could. He absolutely could. Because Omega Supreme... Yes. He could absolutely Robeast kill Omega Supreme. Boy, we're on number 3 of these, and that's a mistake. Uh-oh. For those who don't know, the good part's at the bottom. So, get ready with the Lonely Man theme. We're about to do it. Energon Optimus Prime, I am sorry, but you are among the worst of primes. Okay, so enough of that. So, let's take a step backwards, because Optimus Prime is not the first Prime to get bad treatment. There was one before Power Master Prime, which, once again, is hard to put on the list because I love him so much. But there was one before. Rodimus Prime. Such a cool vehicle mode. I mean, who would have thought that a camper would be cool? But they did it. This is awesome. And Hot Rod in the movie. He was a cool looking sports car thing. And he was awesome. And then, oh, I removed the trailer. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? I mean, you kind of expect it to be sort of Hot Rod, but it's not. It's a pair of robot legs with little spinners here because... So, this is Rodimus Prime without his trailer. Well, let's just take a look at this trailer. The trailer must be something pretty cool. We'll transform it. Oh! It's a gun on wheels. Okay, that's not fair. It also comes with these things that don't store anywhere. So we'll plug these. Thank you. And we'll put on these because yes. And then we'll transform Rodimus Prime. We flip down his feet and we pull out the arms, and then you extend the body and swivel around the hood, and then compress it and flip up the head, and then you can take off the little wing thing and plug it into his back. And so you've got kind of a stick guy, and you can give him a gun, which also doesn't store in the vehicle mode. And so he's got a really big gun. I feel like he's compensating for something. That's Rodimus Prime. This is what Hasbro felt like was a reasonable replacement for the original Optimus Prime. Here, we'll combine him with his trailer, He has a little place for his feet here. And then you can kind of do this. Okay, so, you know, there. That's Rodimus Prime, the savior of the Autobots, the hero of the Cybertronian Wars. Can you here? Wait a minute. Let's Rodimus, get into a dynamic pose. Yeah. Here's the thing. I think that there's potential with the concept of Rodimus Prime. A conflicted leader who feels like he can't live up to the to his predecessor. Okay, I can respect that. But this toy is cheap and unimpressive. My nostalgia eyes really like him. Because, you know, when I was a kid, the idea of a new Prime, that was really cool. And there are things that I like about him, but it's not a good design. It's just not a good design. And as much as I want to like him, Kyochi's comment. So, and then there's Masterpiece Rodimus, and credit to Takara. So this is from Kyoji. He's saying, and then there's Masterpiece Rodimus Prime, and credit to Takara Tomy for making him able to switch between Rodimus and Hot Rod, but fiddly, so fragile, and so many issues. Yeah, so I've got Masterpiece Rodimus, who broke in storage, and he looks great, but and he's able to transform into Hot Rod and Rodimus, but once again, you know, they made the bottom of the bottom of the body wider than the top, which goes against that tapered waist getting larger as it goes wider thing that makes heroic characters look heroic. And I'm sorry, but the difference between the Rodimus Prime robot mode and the Hot Rod robot mode is infinitesimal. I can't tell a difference, and this guy's been in storage for a long time, and it's because, you know what, there's just not, he's not that cool. I'm sorry, he's not that cool. So, Power of the Primes Rodimus is actually really awesome, and I will show that in a future. But here's his other arm, which at some point he will get fixed. You know, I'm sorry, it's not going to be a priority. It's not going to happen anytime soon because this toy was disappointing. So much potential, but just no. Sorry. So, I think that I can jointly say Rodimus Prime and Rodimus Prime, you are among the worst of primes. So, boy, I've got a big pile of toys down here. So, that brings us to our last Prime of the evening. The Prime that I only just tonight realized was never meant to be Prime, and that makes it a little bit better. I don't know how many of you remember this, but there was a line of Transformers called alternators. And these were super detailed, realistic cars at 1/24th scale with interiors and engines and opening hoods and passenger compartments that looked like real vehicles. They were done in partnership with real car companies. So it wasn't just something that looked like a Subaru Impreza. It was a model of a Subaru Impreza with the accurate engine, with the accurate interior. They were amazing. And so when I saw that there was an alternators version of Optimus Prime, I thought, wow, this is going to be amazing. This was not amazing. First of all, now let me say this. What I learned tonight is that Hasbro never intended this design to be Optimus Prime. It was going to be some other character, but it wasn't going to be Optimus Prime. And I think that it would have been better, but it still wouldn't have been good. Because, you know, if I'm going to make Optimus Prime into a pickup truck, he's going to be a quad cab with the extended axle. Okay, he's not going to be just a two-seater Ram, and certainly not the sport version of the Ram. I mean, a wing, a spoiler on a pickup truck for Optimus Prime? Really? I don't think so. And hey, I love the Dodge Ram, okay? Because this looks a lot like my truck. I have a Dodge Dakota, which looks very, very similar to the Ram. But I mean, does that say Optimus Prime to you? It doesn't say Optimus Prime to me. So let's go ahead and start the arduous process of transforming. Of course, the vehicle mode looks great. For what it is. If you get past the fact that Optimus Prime should not be a two-seater with a spoiler in the back, then it looks great. And it has the wheels that, you know, the steering mechanism actually kind of works so that when you use, you know, when you pivot one wheel, the other one goes with it. And you can pop the hood. Right here, I will pop the hood, and look, it's got the Viper engine, which is very cool, and the engine actually comes out and becomes his weapon, which seems impractical, but I guess if you're a Transformer, that engine's not really an engine. So we transform that, and it turns into a little gun, which you know, if this were really intended to be Optimus Prime, that would look like Optimus Prime's iconic rifle, not a little pistol thing. And by the way, I had misgivings the moment, actually Monica had misgivings the moment that we looked up we were looking at the package and we turned it around to the back. Because everybody knows what Optimus Prime's catchphrase is. Okay? For those who don't remember, oh, you know what? Modding it to be Nemesis Prime, you know, that would be an injustice to Nemesis Prime, too. No, maybe Ironhide. See, I could see him as Ironhide. This would make a pretty good Ironhide. But anyway, so, may we get Peter Cullen as...
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
Words to live by, Peter Cullen, aka Optimus Prime. What was the catchphrase on the packaging for this? The defense of freedom requires the dedication of the mighty? Did you join the NRA? Is this what you were yelling at a chair at some point? What the hell is wrong with you? You are not Optimus Prime! So, with that out of the way, oh, look, it's Optimus Prime. You can see his legs, his arms, his face. You know what? What were those like Matchbox things that came out at the time of the movie? The RPMs. They were called RPMs, and they were like little Matchbox cars, and then they just had an image of a Transformer molded into the undercarriage, and so the idea was that you stood them up. Okay, so he's a 1/24th scale RPM. I hated those. Those were terrible. And I don't own any, and that's on purpose. So, yes, actually this is the same scale as my my model of Diablo. Right here. So I got a model of my car. This is my car, by the way. For those who haven't like watched the video on my channel about me getting my car together and legal, this is essentially Diablo, my 2014 Dodge Charger, and I even painted this with almost the exact same paint. There was a Rust-Oleum Black Knight Metallic that is almost the exact same color as my car. So I was able to paint this model. And so, yeah, 1/24th scale. And that's pretty cool. You are not among the worst of primes, Diablo. So anyway, so I'm going to attempt to transform this. And it's not going to be pretty. Just going to let you know right now. And I'm not going to explain it because, honestly, I can't explain it. Yeah, right. You know, even the labored transform noise from the pilot.
I'll try. I don't know if I can do it. I've almost got it.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Rewind.
You got it. You got it.
Come on.
Well, I got part of the way through. I probably made it farther than I expected to. So, let's see. We flip out the feet, and then we kind of flip down these things in the back here so that he sort of has knee joints. And then these things spin around and do that. And they spin around, which I don't even understand why that's necessary, but I don't know. And apparently this mold was, you know, like this toy was very expensive for them to produce, and it was Takara that insisted that it be Optimus Prime because they in Japan they don't have a lot of pickup trucks, and so they felt that if it wasn't marketed as and there's the door. I'm gonna leave it off for now. So Takara's feeling was that if it wasn't branded as Optimus Prime, they just wouldn't be able to sell any. And so and because Hasbro really needed Takara to go in on them, you know, go in with them on the manufacturing, they caved and made it Optimus Prime, but it was never intended to be Optimus Prime. And I feel a little bit better knowing that, because I always wondered, you know, why it's so obviously not Optimus Prime. Why would you, if you were going to do Optimus Prime, why would you make him a two-seater sport pickup? That just doesn't make sense. So, okay, so Osaka Jack has literally never seen a pickup driving around here. And you know what, I've never been to Japan. I was in Shanghai, China for 3 weeks, and I saw some and I know China is not at all the same as Japan, but that's the farthest that I've been overseas. So you have to forgive the fact that I haven't traveled anywhere else. I saw a bunch of pickup truck, like it would have a pickup truck back with a motorcycle front, or maybe like a little one-seater compartment in the front. You know, it was in America, we never see stuff like that. If you've got a truck bed in the back, then you are either a pickup truck or a 1970s El Camino. And that's it. So, yeah. Oh, KISS players. You know, I don't have anything from KISS players. So, oh, this was a KISS players design. Okay, well, okay, so, you know, we will talk about that at some point. So, we're getting there. We are getting there. We've got parts all over the place here, people. Just go ahead and do your own thing for about the next 15 minutes, and I'll get this figured out. Alternators were hard. I mean, these were hard. You know, there's so many little fiddly bits, and you just sort of have to kind of work with them to get the stuff out of the way. You know, right now the fenders are the biggest challenge. And oh, I had success on this side, so that's kind of out of the way. And no, the plastic isn't great either. You know, it just doesn't feel as nearly as high quality as the other alternators. And yeah, I don't know. Ah, there we go. Okay, so we got the shoulder out, and now the wheels can go down around the side, and we can put this down here, and I guess that sort of goes down like that. And so that is, I guess the front kind of does this thing or something. Maybe that. There we go. So he's got some big shoulder things going on, and he's got some truck doors hanging off of him, and yeah. Okay, so that is him. Let me put the other truck door on. And I can even see here the white residue from when I put glue into the joints to try and tighten him up, because he came out of the box very, very floppy. And that's another thing that I've done on a lot of my toys when they have loose joints, is I'll take super glue and squirt them into the joints. Oh, Savage Shark is leaving. Okay, hey, have a great night, Savage Shark. We are very close to the end anyway, so this one's for you, Savage Shark. Okay, so that is him, and we will give him his little pistol. There we go. Okay, so that's him. That is Optimus Prime, alternators, Optimus Prime. He is kibble-tastic. He looks like a truck that is kind of exploded, and the robot parts are still scrambling to get out. Yeah, he's, you know, I had to do a lot of work on him just to get his joints tight enough for him to hold a pose. He really isn't very poseable because he's got so much stuff hanging off of him that you can't move him. You know, he's sort of like a kid in a cardboard Halloween costume that's way too cumbersome for the kid to be able to move around in. But that's what he reminds me of. And well, I think that's all that I can say about him, other than Alternators Prime. I am sorry, but you are among the worst of primes. I'm not really sorry. So, that brings us to the end of our list of the worst primes. Oh, you know what? There's also Michael Bay protoform movie Prime that turns into a snot ball. Monica likes this toy. This, you know what? That he doesn't even get the apology. So, that is the worst of primes. Thank you for sticking with me for 3 hours. You guys are great. I can't imagine that I hope this was fun for you. It was fun for me. I have had way too much of this. I'm probably going to sleep really well tonight. But anyway, you guys have a great night. Thank you so much to all of you who logged in. And for those of you who have been chatting up in the chat and joining us each week, you guys are what makes this worth doing. And honestly, if you guys weren't showing up, I'm not sure that I would keep doing it. So thank you so much. You guys are the best. Thank you. And so with that, it's 11 o'clock, people. So I'm gonna let you go. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful evening. This has been the worst of primes.